So on January 24th of this year, I secured my postdoc at Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. This is Chelsea here. If you're new, I'm a clinical psychology doctoral candidate in the 4th year of my program. And as you can tell by today's title, I have great news to share with you. So I did secure a postdoc before the notification date, which was February 22nd. But before I tell you where I will be going, I want to talk about like my little interview experiences. So the interview process for me wasn't too long. I started interviewing in like December and finished up like halfway through January. So I interviewed at 4 sites, and they were all private practices that were like psychological assessment focused. So I was trying to get like comprehensive psychological evaluation experience, and so those are the type of places that I interviewed at. So when I have my interviews, they're pretty like relaxed, not so formal, I would say. They did ask me questions about like some stuff that was on my resume, but like one of them had like a case scenario where you talk about what do you think might be some cultural considerations at play, what diagnoses you might be considering for the client, and then other sites asked me things about like what I was looking for, type like best match type of things, what my goals were, and they all allowed me to ask questions about their site. So I already shared with you all the questions that I did ask. If you look at my last video applying for postdocs, there's a link in the description box to the interview questions that I was asking these sites. So that was pretty much the interview process. It wasn't too long. One of the sites that I interviewed with had like, the initial interview was like 30 minutes on the phone with all the staff psychologists, and then after that I met with each staff psychologist for 1 hour each, and that was 5 interviews. So very intense time-wise, but just getting to meet with everyone from the site and get a feel of like what the culture will be like was very helpful for me. And that was actually the site that had extended me my first offer. So at this point I had finished interviewing with them, and this was January 17th. So this was like a couple weeks ago. So I had finished interviewing with them, and the next week on January the 21st, I got an offer from them. And so I was like, I was just talking about what am I going to do if I get an offer from a site before like the match day, and I haven't like figured out which is going to be my first choice, or I haven't heard back from my first choice. So I was like, let me get back to you, right? So at this point, I didn't even like do my objective ranking. And if you're not new to the channel, then you know, like even for my internship, like applications, you have to do ranking and submit them. I don't have to do that for here, but I found it to be helpful in like narrowing down what would be the best match for me and my goals objectively rather than subjectively. So immediately that day, I had to pull out my little Excel sheet. I had to go through my pros and cons document and like update that, like what were the pros and cons after interviewing with each site. And then I chose the criteria that I was going to rank them all in, and I'll show you that right now. Okay, so as you can see, the most important criteria for me had the highest weight, and that was learning the business side of psychology and the types of training opportunities and like didactic seminars that I would be able to get, because I'm really trying to expand my knowledge when it comes to psych assessments. And so that's very important for me. And I also want to start my own private practice, so I want to learn the business side of that. And that was like one of my biggest training goals, on top of them all being comprehensive evaluation sites. The next factor that had the second highest weight was multicultural considerations. And I value multicultural considerations and how they influence my practice with my own clients and in supervision. So that was very important for me that the site would incorporate that as well into testing. And then the next highest ranked criteria was like it being hands-on training, which is what I'm really looking for. So I can be able to translate like what the results are showing into like how it would look in the real life world. So that's very important for me as far as like strengthening my clinical, skills. So these were the things that I used. The ones that really got cutthroat for the kid was the multicultural considerations, learning the business side, and what else? Hands-on training. The opportunity for therapy wasn't that big of an influence, but definitely the higher ranked criteria were like groundbreaking, like this is like 2 to 3 point differences here. So it really came down to this, and I really had to focus on like, okay, I know I wanted to work with this site before, but this site will meet every single thing that I need, and this will be great for me, like setting a good foundation. So doing this was very, very, very helpful for me, and I recommend you guys do this, okay? So those were the criteria that I used, and at that time, I was just like, okay, the site that offered me the postdoc ended up being the site that was ranked #1 for me objectively. So I just had to sit and really think about it, reflect on it, pray on it before accepting. But I knew like that same day that I was going to accept it. So I received a written offer letter from them, and I gave my little signature, and things were locked in. So on January 24th of this year, I secured my postdoc at Atlanta Psychological Services, and I am so excited to be moving. I am so excited for the work that I'm going to be doing. I know it's going to be an awesome training year, and I'm just looking forward to everything that I'm going to be able to do. So I'm so happy that I was able to share this with you all. Thank you for following me on this journey, and if you made it this far into the video and you're not subscribed to the channel, I need you to hit the subscribe button. Like, subscribe to the channel, follow me on this journey, and if you're in a program as well, or you're considering other graduate psychology programs, follow me on this journey and we can get our degrees together, okay? Make sure that you explore the page. Your girl has playlists, your girl has food content, your girl has travel content, okay? Follow me on all of my social medias. It's in the description box down below, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye.